Hello, welcome to Do It Yourself with Wayne. Our channel is all about teaching you how to do things yourself to save you money. So if you're interested in saving money, subscribe to our channel and we'll help you with that. We go through all kinds of do-it-yourself projects around the home, including in the yard, gardening, inside the house, lighting, plumbing, electrical, just all sorts of stuff. So if you're interested in saving money, subscribe to our channel. Today we're actually out here in our camper, and the problem that we had, and I did a video about fixing this light over here. I'll put a link up above. I'll also put one in the description, where this cabinet, this is our pantry for our kitchen, and when we got the camper, it looked like that. It's so dark back in there you couldn't tell what you had. And I installed an LED tape light in there, and it comes with a nice little switch that you can adjust the intensity of the light, and it just makes it so much better and easier to see the things that you've got in there. But the problem that we've got is that light runs off 110 volts, and our camper only has 110 volts if it's plugged in. So what I'm going to do today in this video is I'm going to modify this to operate off 12 volts. And just some of the items that we've got. I got an old power supply. I'm not going to use this block. I'm going to cut the cord off of it, and we're going to use this cord to modify that for the 12 volt supply to the tape light. I got some extra fuses because the fuse panel in our camper, it does have a vacant slot for a fuse for 12 volts. So I'm going to use one of these fuses, tie into that for the power. And then another little thing, I bought some reed switches. Now if you watch to the end of the video, you'll know what the reed switches are for. So let's get started on this upgrade. Now at this point, let me show you what I've done off camera. I took the wire that was on that old power supply thing that I showed you. I cut it off. I could have used the one that came with the tape light, but I don't know why. For some reason I just didn't want to use that one. So I had an old one and I used it. But I had to get one that this connector was the right connector. And the one that I'm using, it is the correct connector to plug into the switch that came with the tape light. Because I will be using this switch that came with the tape light. And down here just a little ways, I spliced into this wire and I installed one of my reed switches. And I installed it on the normally open side of the switch. No, excuse me, the normally closed side of the switch. And I soldered these wires together after I twisted them up, put some heat shrink tubing over them to protect them. So my reed switch is ready to go now. And on the end of the wire, I stripped the wire back a little bit. I put solder on the wires just so they won't get frayed and they'll make a little better contact when I hook them into my fuse panel. So at that point, I'm ready to start installing this wire and my switch and stuff and see how it works. Now I hope you'll be able to see this because I don't have a lot of room to work. But I've drilled a hole right down in here so I can wrap my wire down this way and over toward my fuse panel. So I'm going to take my wires, twist these together just a little bit just to make it easier to stick them down through that hole. This will take a minute. I apologize. I'll try to speed it up. There we go. Now I've decided on my reed switch I'm going to put it right here. So I got some double stick tape on the reed switch and I'm just going to press it right there. And that's where my reed switch is going to sit. And took all these wires back in. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail for some of this stuff because every installation is going to be different. But I'm going to take my little switch that comes with the LED light, tape light. I'm going to mount it right under here with some double stick tape. I got some staples for stapling wires to things. So I'm going to neaten these wires up a little bit over here and plug that in. And basically that's going to be my installation as far as this part is concerned. So now let me do that part. Okay, that gets this upgrade finished. And one thing you didn't see me do was hooking up the wire to my fuse panel. And I didn't bother showing that because every installation is going to be different. So I didn't really see the point in wasting your time with that. But when you hook your wire up to your tape light, in these connectors, and I'll put a close-up of this, the center pin inside is got to be your positive of your 12 volts. The outside is the negative. If your tape lights are like mine, and I suspect most of them are, you got to have the positive on the inside prong and the ground on the outside. And when you go to hook it up, make sure you hook it up that way. If you don't have a voltmeter, just hook it up. If it don't work, switch them. It's possible you could destroy your tape light like that, but I did test it on mine. I hooked them up backwards intentionally just so I could answer this question for you. In my case, it did not do any damage when I hooked it up backwards. It just didn't work. So I put it back in the proper order where the positive was on the inside and negative on the outside, and the light worked just fine. So just keep that in mind if you try to do this on your own. So now I'm finished with this upgrade for my tape light in our pantry. And to show you what the reed switches do, if you watch right in here on our cabinet, right in here you can, I know you can't see it because it's dark, but you can see in the crack just a little bit, it's dark back in there. Now watch as I open the door. That's what I use the reed switches for. There's a magnet on my door that trips the reed switch, and basically the reed switch is normally closed, which means it supplies power to my tape light. When I close it, it goes to open, which turns the light off. So that's what I use the reed switch for. So when we open the pantry door, the light turns on. When we close it, the light turns off. So in a nutshell, the tape light that we have, and I suspect most of them, but I don't know all of them, it actually operates off 12 volts DC. The battery pack that you plug into the wall for 110 volts AC converts that 110 volts AC to 12 volts DC. And if you're familiar with campers, a camper typically has two power systems that are basically completely separate. One is 120 volts AC, one is 12 volts DC. The 120 volts AC only works if the camper is plugged into something. And the 12 volts, as long as you got a good battery that's charged up, you've always got 12 volts. So if you're somewhere that you don't have your camper plugged in, your 12 volt system still works. And that's why I wanted this plugged into the 12 volt instead of the 110. So no matter where we're at, these lights still work. So anyway, that's my upgrade for this 12 volt or this tape light in our pantry of our camper. And just if you're curious, our camper is a 2018 Kodiak 24-foot camper. We really like it. Haven't had it long, but we'll be doing some more upgrades. And if you're interested in destinations, we have another YouTube channel called Bucket List Time with Ann and Wayne. And we don't have very many videos right now. We're just getting started. But mostly we're going to be traveling and doing videos about destinations that you may be interested in. So check out that. Again, it's Bucket List Time with Ann and Wayne. I'll put a link down in the bottom to that YouTube channel as well. And if you would subscribe to that one as well as this one, because some of our camping stuff will be in both places. So anyway, I'd just like to say thank you for visiting. Do it yourself with Wayne, and we hope you have a great day.